John?
I'm kind of ready. We're kind of ready. We're going.
Ready?
We're going.
We're kind of ready.
All right, turn on the go.
Hey, boys and girls. It's time for Not Another Puckn podcast, Comedians on Hockey, with your old pal Chris Roach, the sometimes less than personable Anthony DiDomenico, the Count of Condescension John Truson, and the effervescent Nick Tellelli in the booth. And now,
Let's talk hockey.
All right. Before we get going, we got to address a gaping hole in the studio.
Gaping is a nice word.
Gaping. Although slightly less gaping than 120 pounds ago because he's lost a lot of weight.
Oh, fantastic. He's
doing
inspiration
great.
for a lot of people.
Yep.
A lot of people are following him around like he's Jesus.
No, nobody's following him around like he's Jesus.
Well, at his comedy shows. And online, Anthony DiDomenico, our resident Islander fan and also member of this team, is...
And Surly Bastard.
Another... Chris, how many nieces and nephews does his kids have? I feel like...
I know.
And I think it's only 2 or 3, but I think each one of them was baptized 5 times. The way it always seems like he's got to go to something. But he is he's the favorite uncle, of course. The kids love the guy, Anthony. And what's not to love? Mm-hmm. What's not to love besides?
You do. Hey, move this so you can see your pretty face. Come on,
Me?
look. You say, look. See, you want to see your pretty face. Don't you know anything about show business?
No, I'm learning.
Weren't you on television or something?
I'm learning. Well,
there you go.
Sometimes I was.
There you go.
Hey!
Now you're talking.
We are up and running, and this is where Nick's doing a little technical stuff. We're sharing.
Nick's setting us up, but we should be good right now. We are on Facebook Live. We're going.
Yeah, you're on. I just want to...
We are going.
Episode 2
of this season.
Season 3 of Not Another Puckn podcast, Comedians on Hockey. And today, calling in at 3:30, we have Mr. Ron Duguay.
We love Ron Duguay.
Ron Duguay, who I talked to earlier, and wanted to know if this was video or audio, because he would have had to have actually done his hair.
Let me tell you something. Ron doesn't have to do much to look better than we do.
I know.
That's all I have to say.
I know. He's a handsome man, and we'll be talking to him about a couple of things about what's going on in his world.
Well, the season has started.
The season has begun. We're 2 games in.
NHL season has started.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Did you watch both games, Roach, or no?
Do you know what? Unfortunately,
oh, now you're going to have excuses.
If it's on a day where I have a show, it's tough. You know what I missed? I don't see that much anymore. The Rangers in 60.
That's got to be coming.
That's got to come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to come back. It was I loved it.
Chris.
Yeah.
They have fast forward, DVR and fast forward. You can
Yeah.
create your own Rangers in 60.
You're right. I gotta start taping.
It's a little more proactive, but you could do it.
I gotta start taping. But both games, from the highlights I've watched and from what I heard, the Rangers were the better of the two teams. They just didn't win.
The Rangers looked good. I was very happy with the Rangers play, because there's little mistakes here and there. In the first game, you know what they did?
What?
Did you hear this at the end of the game?
What did they do?
They're down a goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a minute and a half to go or something. They pull the goalie.
Right.
The opponent's Nashville takes a penalty.
I saw this, yes.
And an extra guy jumps on. 7 skaters on the ice. 7 skaters on the ice. Too many men on the ice nullifies the penalty.
And this made it all the way to Russia, because I saw some Russian Instagram post about the Rangers players, and they circled each player. So it's internationally known.
That the Rangers can't count?
The faux
pas. But they played an excellent game, and I'm liking the style.
Yeah.
They are playing aggressively. They're fast. Little edge to him. Your boy Vesey is he's looking tough in front of the net. Your boy Vesey a little pushing and shoving.
He's impressed me so far. Jimmy Vesey has impressed me so far. And who else has impressed me? Jesper Foss always impresses me.
Jesper Foss is always great.
And, because I know one of the things we wanted to talk today is because we have 5 people wearing the alternate captains, the A on their jersey. Who will become, if anyone, the next Rangers captain.
Now, is that the theory? They just don't want to name a captain. They're just going to have a slew of alternates.
This is, and we got a quote where it's from. This
For
is
Nick, who is our resident guy who doesn't know that much about hockey.
Right.
When you see the guys with the C or the A on their jersey, C is captain, A is alternate captain. Those are the only guys who can talk to a referee legally.
right.
Interesting. So
Theoretically, like if they have
Yeah.
a gripe or something, and you don't, the ref can give you a penalty. They don't, but in theory, those are the sort of team leaders, and they're supposed to
Yeah.
address any issues with the officials.
that's actually like a very organized way to handle those situations. I feel like
Yeah.
more sports should do that.
So there's an area by the referee's box, and it's like a little semicircle painted, right? It's a semicircle?
yes.
And only the referee and the two players are allowed to stand in that
Anyone goes in that
semicircle.
semicircle,
Penalty!
Interesting.
Stay out of the semicircle, my mother used to tell me.
sounds like a very gentlemanly game until you watch it.
Until you watch it. Until you watch it. So, the 5 alternate captains are as followed. Mark Stahl.
Mark Stahl, a veteran, he's
Veteran.
got the. Is it him and Henrik who have the most years with the Rangers?
I would
now?
think so. Is it him or Henrik? That's a good question.
Or both.
Or both.
They pretty much started around the same.
Mark
time.
Stahl will be a nice pick. Matt Zuccarello,
He's the heart and soul.
heart and soul.
He's a little fella, but he plays like he's 6'2".
We have Chris Kreider, who is one of my favorites. I think Kreider would be a good captain.
Kreider needs the big breakout season this year.
And again, I feel a captain should be somebody that's vocal in the not only in the locker room but on the ice. Jesper Fast is here, but he looks like a kind of a quiet guy to me.
But Jesper Fast, you'll see, every year wins the Players' Player Award.
Yeah.
So the other players love him.
He gives 100% every night, that guy. And of course, Mika Zibanejad, who's just that's one trade I would say that definitely worked out in our favor.
If he could stay healthy, he's
Yeah.
always a force, but he takes some injuries and misses some games.
This is a tough one. I might go, if it was my choice, maybe Kreider first, and because of the seniority, Mark Stahl second, or either one of those.
I'm going with Zibanejad. You know why?
Zibby.
Because if you can spell that name,
That's right.
you're pretty smart.
If you can spell that name.
Stahl, anybody can spell Stahl.
Also, many people may not know that Mika Zibanejad is a successful DJ.
Really?
A successful DJ, mostly, I guess, in Europe. But the man, he goes on like tours. He's a successful DJ. Scratching the records and stuff.
Really?
I've never heard any of his. I think he has.
So is Hodor from Game of Thrones.
He's a successful DJ?
Yes.
In real life?
Yes.
Okay, because I think Mika actually has.
Maybe you should get into that.
Wow. The Kevin did on Kevin Can Wait. Kevin did call me Hodor one episode, and I want to make a compilation of all the names that Kevin called me in the 2 seasons. He called me Hodor, Sasquatch, Lurch, Groot. I want to make a clip of those.
But he didn't call you for season 3.
They didn't call me. Thanks, Nick. Hey, Nick, stay in there if you're going to say stuff like that, all right?
If Nick isn't bringing love into the studio.
Well, somebody's got to take.
Yeah, that's right.
Domingos.
You can be in here taking Anthony's place on the grumpy line.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, we got Mika is a DJ, and what was I going to do? Okay, you said Hodor. Hodor from Game of Thrones is a DJ. Very interesting. It's funny when we filmed that scene, because we're talking comedy and hockey. Just so you know, this podcast is comedy and hockey, show business. But when we filmed that scene, like Leah Remini was sitting next to Kevin, and she didn't know what he was going to say. So he said something, and I said thank you, and he goes, "Not you, Hodor." And she bursted out laughing. It was on a blooper reel, if I could find that, but a very funny moment.
All right. Speaking of comedy, what'd you do this weekend comedically?
Oh, comedically, I was a New York City comic this weekend, which I love.
Really? Where'd you work?
I worked at Dangerfield and the comic strip, and I got to say I'm really, really enjoying it because I'm getting to try out material that first I was frightened. I'm like, oh, are they going to find me funny? Because I mostly do around the country and the suburbs and the cities. It's different.
It's completely different.
And I love the challenge, and I'm trying out new things, and I think it's really making me well-rounded as a comedian.
Yeah, the key
and
is to
building
be
my
able
confidence.
to do well in both venues.
Yes,
because the suburban audience is completely different than the city audience.
And likewise, we've seen city comics come out to Long Island and not do well, and vice versa. Long Island comics go out to the city and do not do well. But if you could do good in both places adjusts. That's the thing about young Nick Toletti. How long have you been doing comedy now?
I'm doing comedy for 3 years.
Okay, like there are different shows. Like I'll go to the Borgata in Atlantic City, and it's a lot of white hair, and sometimes you got to be
Sometimes blue.
sometimes blue, and it's like you got to slightly make adjustments to your act. Where I may be a little, because the stage is so big. I remember in an article one time, Brian Regan said that you have to fill the stage. So you got this big stage, and Joey Cola told me too, you have this big stage, you got to fill it. You can't just stand there at the microphone and, they'll be like, they'll fall asleep on you.
Chris?
Yeah,
Have you looked at yourself?
that's true.
There aren't many stages that you don't fill.
That is true. That is true. But the Borgata is a quietly large stage.
Quietly large? Is it bigly?
It's bigly. I'm looking at myself on camera. My God, am I pale? Oh, my.
We'll have to use some makeup next time.
I think I gotta get my liver checked out. Anyway, yes, I love being. That's one thing I loved about being on a TV show is they do your hair and makeup, and they would say to me at the end of the show, they would give me a hot towel. You want to wash this off and clean off your makeup and take a shower, wash your hair, wash that topics out of your hair. I was like, no, I'm going food shopping. I want people to see me. I look beautiful.
There you go.
So.
Okay, so you worked in the city this weekend. Well, you had a good time.
This past weekend, I loved it. Yeah, and yeah. So that was it. What'd you do, John Truson?
I watched hockey.
You watch hockey
because I was prepping for this.
John Truson.
I said I could have worked. I replaced myself on some shows and said I'm going to watch these games so that I can comment intelligently on the podcast.
Oh, very good.
There you go.
Now, can we see our? We definitely we've doing some new things. Now we have a screen up here where we can see comments. Stakowski said Hughes is going to be the next captain. You mean Hayes?
I don't know.
By the way, look, I don't think we have a Hughes on the team, but I think you meant Hayes, maybe Kevin Hayes. Kevin Hayes would not be a bad selection either. Tough player, big dude. Yeah. So anyway,
but you also don't know the relationships with the players, as you said, like in the locker room and stuff, and who were the sort of natural leaders and who are the more timid guys.
And you always hear sometimes when a player leaves, they say what a big presence he was in the locker room. Things that we don't see. And sometimes in that locker room, that's tremendous because. When you're down, like say 3-0 going into the third, and you got everybody sitting in the locker room.
Matt says Hughes is the clear-cut first-round pick next draft, which means our friend Matt, is insinuating the Rangers will finish last and get the first pick.
Oh,
you see what happened there?
Oh, okay. Wait a second. He said he called it the Rags. That's one of the.
He's an Islander guy.
Yeah, that's Islander.
He's allowed. He's allowed to be an Islander guy.
Islander fans call Rangers Rags, and we call Islander fans fish sticks. I don't know. What do we call them?
Winners.
We don't call you
uneducated.
Uneducated.
I don't think about them too much.
We don't think about you that
much. That was
either.
surprising to me. This is an absolutely true story. Kevin Downey Jr., our friend, comedian, had never been to a Stanley Cup playoff game. Great hockey fans from Detroit, had never been to a playoff game.
Big wingnut.
So we went to the Islander game where Tavares won the game in overtime and pushed the Islanders into the next round of the playoffs.
Okay.
And it was an exciting game. It was an exciting game. And the fans were actually fired up. It's the first time they'd advanced in the playoff in years. And outside, instead of going, "We want the cup," or, things like that, they were chanting, like, "Rangers suck," which means that, like, even though they just triumphed and had a great victory, the thing in their heads is Rangers and Ranger fans. That's a loss for them. You don't see the Ranger fans chanting anything about the Islanders after a Stanley Cup
Unfortunately,
win.
One thing the Ranger fans do chant, and I can't stand it, is the Potvin sucks chant.
I told you I have an idea for that.
We got to replace it with something.
No, we don't replace it.
Right.
We got to officially retire it. You raise a banner that says Potvin sucks with a 5 on it. You bring Dennis in. Everybody chants Potvin sucks at him. And you raise the banner and you officially retire the chant.
The man
I think that would be great.
I think Potvin would get a standing ovation if he walked into the.
I know. I think that would be awesome.
because
Tell Nick what the
I was just gonna
origins.
it all started. The Rangers were a favorite to win the Stanley Cup. I think it had to be 70s, 80s, late 70s, and we had a player by the name of Ulf Nielsen who was a defenseman.
No, just center.
Center.
Hedberg, Nielsen were.
Okay, that's right. Ulf Nielsen, and he was checked by the Islanders Hall of Famer defenseman Dennis Potvin. And most people say it was a clean check.
It was a clean check.
But it broke, I think, his leg, right? It broke Ulf Nielsen's leg,
Yep.
and that altered the course of the Rangers' Cup quest.
Yeah, he basically finished the season for the Rangers' best player. And since that day, if you go to a Ranger game at Madison Square Garden, there is a chant that happens 3 or 4 times a game where the people remind us that Potvin sucks.
Right.
And this happened like 35 years ago.
And it starts with a whistle. Some guy's whistling very loud. I can't do it. But every time it whistles, I look around, I'm like, where is this son of a bitch? Where is he? Knock it off. Do you even know what you're talking about?
I feel like I was going to say I feel like a lot of people just chant now because everyone else is chanting. And
they don't know what
no
the
idea.
They don't know the origin. They don't know where it comes from.
I'd probably do that.
But Matt was saying, here that he could be the next Crosby. This kid, Hughes, huh?
Nice.
I cannot wait. I don't think the Islanders are playing their first round draft pick yet of 2018, or the Rangers. I can't wait to see these two kids go head to head. That'll intensify the rivalry.
Matt, who actually should be here with an Islander jersey on, helping us out with the podcast in Anthony's absence, says that even Nielsen said there was nothing wrong with the head. He just caught a rut in the ice, which happens.
Is Matt the guy you play hockey with?
No.
Okay. Who the hell's Matt? Hey, Matt.
He's that guy. He's a knowledgeable Islander fan. We like him.
He knows his hockey. You're welcome here, buddy.
That's right.
I'm sure we met him 1,000 times. But
yeah, you're more authorized for the studio than I am, so.
Matt, I should keep telling Eric to vouch for me.
Okay.
Who's Eric?
Eric from the morning show? Eric Shevlin?
He's a fan, you know?
He plays with Eric. Eric Shevlin, him I did play with.
Okay.
I played on the team with Eric and then actually told him about this and he ended up doing the morning show here.
I'm skating this week.
Are you skating this week?
I am skating this week.
I will be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I have a game, and Friday morning.
Can I tell you something, John? You actually look like a nimble ice hockey player. Like, I feel like you...
Nimble?
I wish I was more nimble.
You really?
Nimble?
I wish I was more nimble. I'm okay.
He knows what he's doing.
I'm getting better because I work at it, but...
I feel like I always see you around here just floating around on your feet. I don't know. I really do. I really meant that. I was like, wow, I feel like he just sneaks in.
He's very, very nimble, John.
You sneak in.
I'm like a ninja.
I don't see that for you, though. Go ahead.
No, not nimble at all. When I fall, it takes like 5 minutes.
I'm sure.
I was always, you know what? And this is like, there's so much more information and training for young athletes today. I was the type of guy that in a rent out or practice, I felt like I was one of the top players. But when the game started,
yeah. Did you freeze up? Was it
why? What happened?
Pressure?
total psychological,
Yeah.
totally. Like I was so relaxed in the rent outs and the practices, but when the games came, my adrenaline got the best of me.
But you have to do it's like this. It's the exact same as comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
The first million times you're on stage, you're still thinking about it, but then there comes that point where it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna let it go.
Like I know, like with baseball players, the kids they go to these what's it called, like a visualization. They have like they go to like these kind of classes, these sports visualization, or that helps them become more confident. And me, what did I have? I had nothing. I was this skinny kid with anxiety, and yeah, I'm just a little bitter. That's
I saw a very handsome picture of you the other day.
the mullet picture?
A guy I skated with in the morning. His buddy graduated the police academy same time you did, and there was a picture of like you and a couple other guys.
Oh,
And I was
96?
like, look at how handsome that Chris Roach is. I'm going to get you that picture.
You were a cop. I did hear about that.
Yeah, for a very short while, and I left that police academy in the best shape of my life. Everybody does. And they always say when you leave in the last day, they said you will never be in this good of shape again.
You posted a picture of you at the beach, and I was just like, wow, that is a handsome fella.
Yes, thank you. That was pharmaceutical.
He was a little turned on by that.
It was
Just a little bit.
I don't know if you noticed I cut out my legs in that picture so you didn't see. I always had, I put on some muscle, but I always had those skinny Irish legs. Mm-hmm. And so anytime I took a picture of myself with my shirt off, it was cropped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
strategically.
All right, let's
cropped.
get back to you getting on the ice.
Yes, that's what I want to
Getting on the ice.
All right, now I was there when Chris got on the ice for the first time, and the moment he stepped on the ice, he was terrified.
Because he had come with me. We bought. He had gone with me. I got the top of the line skates. They're like custom skates. They took a panoramic picture of my foot.
I'm sorry, how long ago was this, by the way?
This was back in May.
Yeah, it was like a year ago. It was a year ago.
Really
Year
recent.
ago.
Wow.
Well, I'm getting them back on the ice.
Yeah, I stopped playing since I think like 4 months now. I want to, and it's the best cardio ever. But when I first got on the ice, the first 30 seconds, immediately into myself, I said, "This was a bad idea." Because,
But see, I'm going to tell you what I think you did wrong. Because I suggested this to you and you didn't do it because it's what I did. Before I actually went out with equipment on, I just went to public sessions for like a month and a half. Just to get comfortable, just skating, in my street clothes. That way at least you're not, totally out of your element when you put the equipment on.
Right.
Did someone hold your hands like this and kind of guide you through it?
I lifted them.
well, the good thing is that you have all this equipment in case you fall. But I was still terrified to fall. And
You got a long way to fall, big guy.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing. Once you get your fear of falling out of the way, it's so much better. But even still, anytime you fall, it's scary, especially when you fall backwards.
Yeah. Well, that's like comedy. When you get the fear of bombing out of the way, next thing you know,
Yeah.
you're all
See,
good. It all
exactly the
comes
same
around.
thing.
It's all because I heard from a lot of comedians. They say once you stop caring what they think, not that you don't respect them, but once you stop caring what they think, that's when you start becoming a real. You say whatever you want, and you just feel you get more comfortable. I feel it's happening. I feel it's happening.
But it's not, I don't know, this is a young comics fear. I don't know, maybe you guys are way past this, but I always, this is not even just saying it because I'm here, but it's my always fear, especially going to the city, it's not what I fear about what the audience thinks, it's the owners, the manager. Like, I don't want to piss them off about something that I say. Like, that's a weird balance.
No, I was like that. You've super.
And I don't want to say that just because John's here. I mean, I really mean that. That's the next fear.
I was like, if they told me to do 5 minutes in the early days, I did 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly.
I never wanted to go. I was
Well,
paranoid.
see, that's smart.
Oh, okay.
It's smart. You don't want to step on. You never want to insult the club. Never want to insult the club owners. That kind of stuff. You do have to be very careful about that because they take pride in their business.
Yeah, I feel like there's such a balance when it comes to that. Like the audience I get, it's just like these are the people you're actually going to be working with. Audience, I feel like comes and goes.
Yeah, and it turns out Matt's a hockey player himself.
There you go.
I'm either going to be a good comic or a good hockey player after this.
That's it. We're going to get Taleli on the ice.
Right. And
So when are you skating this week? I'm getting a commitment out
Yeah,
of you.
please, I want to see that.
I'm thinking, when are you doing Tuesday?
Tuesday morning.
I'll be there.
All right.
I'm saying it on the air here. Tuesday morning, I'll be there. Unhappy?
We need video evidence. Jean, you might have to
I will
videotape.
I will
and bring
take
it to the
video
show.
of Chris Roach on the ice.
For me, like half of the workout is getting the equipment on because I'm sweating when the equipment's.
It really is a lot of stuff to put on. But you get there early.
Yeah.
You get there early, you take your time, you relax.
Well, now, where's a place for you guys to openly skate?
They have, at the Town of Oyster Bay rink, which is about 10 minutes from here, I skate. They have clinics at 8:30 in the morning until like 10 o'clock, and you do drills and you skate around, and you can do whatever you want. And it's a good workout. It's better than going to a gym.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep.
Well, I'm interested. I can't wait to see you out there.
There you go.
It's going to be scary, but it's great cardio because, like, it's like on a treadmill, you're running. I see a lot of people take something, they cover up the clock on the. I hate it. You can't look at the clock on the treadmill; it's the worst. And for some reason, I can't put earbuds in because I'm sweating so much and they're falling out, and my hands knocking the earbuds, so I can't listen to music. But when you skate, you get off ice, and when I get done playing, I could take my shirt and wring it out.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Lots of shame.
You could wring out the shame.
I could wring out the shame.
But now, after you went a couple of times, and like second, third time, you were still tentative.
Yes.
But we did some drills and passed it
did
back
some
and forth
drills.
and stuff. And
I started skating like I almost remembered.
so that's what you got to do. But you got to push past that until you're more comfortable.
And I started stopping. I'm like, how do you stop again? And I started learning how to stop again. It's like really learning to walk again.
I was going to say it's like a deer learning to walk, just stiff
Yeah.
and just croaking all over.
And I did go to one, what do you call those things? It was like a drills clinic.
Yeah.
And I show up, this was at Indian Head Road in Kings Park. And it was just me and one other guy. And I was like, oh my God, this guy worked this out to the point I was like, when you just like, it's just snot's coming out everywhere. And I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, guy, I'm like 50 years old, right? I'm just coming back and trying. And he was a friend of my brother's too, but it was really a great experience, but man, did this guy work me out. Holy crap.
See,
Now-
but it's good for you.
Now, what level do you go from? Okay, now I can skate. Now, I'm sure playing hockey is a totally new thing once you learn how to skate, right? Because now you need to skate fast and precise, all right?
Yep.
And are you at that level yet, John? Or
I like playing games and stuff. I mean, the adage is, you skate from the waist down, you play hockey from the waist up. Because it's like two completely different things. Your legs are doing one thing skating, and then you're working the stick and doing all the shooting and all the stuff with your upper body. So it's two things that have to happen at once.
And then there's that. Who was the NFL player who said he could be in the NHL in 6 months? It caused a lot of controversy.
I doubt that.
Somebody, I think he's on the Seattle Seahawks, and he said, "Give him 6 months, he'll learn to play hockey." And it's like the biggest laugh. Everybody's like, it was all over the internet.
Did you ever see there are some YouTube videos of other sport professional athletes trying hockey, and it's pretty funny.
that's actually something hilarious.
It is.
It's just, it's like learning one sport and then having to learn another sport. It's like just playing. If you ever played street hockey or deck hockey, that's like just learning to play that takes skill. And then okay, you're good at that. Now put on ice skates. It just
Yeah.
That's why a lot of these players, these great players, they start skating as soon as they can walk. The parents have them on skates.
And some people don't realize that ice is slippery.
Ice is
Oh, I
slippery.
heard that
Yeah.
actually. I don't know if
Ice
it's
is
true.
slippery, yeah. A lot of people have slipped on it and not realized that it was the slipperiness of the ice that made them fall.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
So Chris Roach is committed Tuesday morning. Now,
Tuesday morning, I'll be
you
there.
realize that next week, probably Anthony will be back.
Okay,
And I'm going to share with Anthony if you do not show up.
I'll be there.
And you know that I'll give it to you, but do you want Anthony
No.
to give you shame?
Anthony's a good friend to have around because any success that I do get, he humbles me.
Oh, it's good to have.
He humbles me with insults. I'm like, oh, okay.
What if you don't get any success?
Even when I was on the show with Kevin, he's like, "Oh, I noticed you haven't been on in 3 episodes." I'm like, "Oh, thanks for noticing, pal. Thanks for noticing." Like I'm not sitting at home biting my nails or anything. Like, am I going to be in next week's episode?
Yeah, hilarious. So now the Rangers first couple of games. Let's get back to the
Yeah.
to the thing at hand. The Rangers first couple of games, they showed good speed. You know what I like about them? When they have a man advantage, either with a power play or when they pull the goalie at the end, it looks like they have a man advantage.
Yes.
Because we've seen some Ranger teams where the power play just looked like a bunch of guys running around. It looked like it
Right.
wasn't organized. Didn't look like they had control of the game.
I think it's safe to say the power play will be better this year than it was last.
Better be.
Yeah, especially with you got Shattenkirk out there.
If Shattenkirk stays
healthy, yes.
he makes a difference.
Knock.
Your boy Bushnevich is
Bushnevich on
is
the
big
point.
on the power play now.
That's a big thing. Like on the power play, you got 5 skaters. They have 4 plus goalies, and a lot of times I don't know who started it, but they started putting a forward back on defense. So you have 1 defenseman and 4 forwards, so to speak. So you get more of an offensive edge. I'm trying to think the first time I ever seen that. I think I remember the Rangers putting like Sandstrom or somebody back there in the 80s. It was different.
Can I ask something that this may
Yes.
seem really dumb? If people are out on the bench, and I feel like hockey's always going in, and it's like fluid.
Yep.
So they're pulling people out during the game and throwing people in.
Guy
correct?
jumps off and a guy jumps on. Same.
Okay, and
Yep.
does that happen when someone gets the puck? When does that happen frequently?
You never make a change when the puck is in your defensive end.
Okay.
You'll see is sometimes players will take it to center ice, like the red line, just throw it in deep, and then everybody will change.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because offensively is not, you can make a change. Defensively, you're leaving your goalie out to dry because then the other team could just go in with an odd man rush. So
Yeah.
you always try to make a change when the puck is in the offensive zone.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
We're going to take Taleli to a game. We're going to explain all this.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be, I can't really enjoy it at first. I'm sure I'm going to have to learn and then experience the fun. But yeah, that'd be nice.
There's nothing like going. I mean, I was fortunate enough to get these these tickets that was sitting behind the bench, and oh my god, it's tough to go back after that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're a man of the people.
I am a man
You
of
could
people.
sit amongst the people.
It is, yeah.
Well-
It's like the seats are so tight. Being a big guy, when you're up top, it's like the seats are so damn
And
tight,
there's
close
no
together.
no free cheeseburgers.
No free cheeseburgers.
Royce doesn't like to pay for his food. I'll tell you that right now.
But MSG is not bad with the seats. It's like if you ever gone to like a Jet or a Giant game, it's like you have to literally look at the guy next to you and go, all right, I'm going to put my shoulder behind you. You can put yours in front of me. It's like you're so tight against somebody. You don't even know the guy. You're like squished up against him. And that's where beer comes in because you know. That's where beer
Well
comes
said.
in. Because you have to like 3 or 4 beers. You're like, I don't care who's leaning on me. This guy's soft.
I could watch this at home now.
He's snuggy, this guy. And it's freezing. You're like, hey, get closer. Get closer. So
No,
it's good.
I get that because when I went to a basketball game once and it was in the front row, that's why it was like special. And then I was like, wow, I think I like basketball. Then I sat in bed. I was like, nah, I don't really care about the sport.
Well, a good thing about hockey is even when you're in seats that are like sort of raised up, it's actually easier, especially if you're new, to watch the game raised up a little because
makes
you can
sense.
see what's
Yeah,
happening below you.
yeah.
When you're right down on ice level, everything's happening so quickly.
It is
It
so-
looks a
yeah.
lot more confusing.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Your neck is moving like silly.
Like when you watch on TV, that shot is a raised up shot. So
Yeah.
like if you're in the upstairs, that's the view that you're going to have.
That's a good point.
So we're moving it on at 3:30. Duguay should be calling in. But
Says you.
Says me. I wanted to get to, I don't know if we have time today, but it was a really funny article I saw, and it was the 15 players that disgraced the Stanley Cup. And this is like, that could be a whole episode in itself. That is such a 15 players that have disgraced the Stanley Cup. After winning the cup, what happens is each player gets like a week with the cup, is it?
Yeah.
Each player on the team gets a week
You
with
get
the cup.
an amount of time. To,
Yes.
Although that the keeper of the cup stays with you these days to make sure that nothing untoward happens.
Is it still that blonde guy?
Yes.
This one guy his job has been to guard the Stanley Cup. I've seen him on American Express commercials.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a celebrity. Mm-hmm. All he does is walk around with a black suit and white gloves and transport the Stanley Cup. It's got its own suitcase. And I think, hold on, we have a phone call. The phone is ringing.
Governor's Radio. Go ahead. Hello?
Chris, it's Ron Duguay.
Ron Duguay!
The great Ron Duguay, ladies and gentlemen.
Ron Duguay. Oh, yes.
Ron, we already miss you on MSG.
Oh, painful. Welcome, Ron.
Yeah, thanks. I've been watching you, and kind of got caught up in the conversation, and I forgot I was supposed to be on with you.
That's so funny. That's so. I know.
I love to listen to Chris's insights on hockey playing.
Not good, Ron. Not good.
By the way, Chris, how you doing as a hockey player? Because I know recently you've got back into getting the gear to get into skates and get back playing. How's that going for you?
It was going good until the summer came along, so I haven't played in a couple months, Ron. But I am getting on the ice. I made a statement, a declaration. I'm getting on the ice Tuesday with John Truson over here, who's quite the hockey player himself. And
Okay. Have you fallen yet?
I have not fallen yet. And I skate like a somebody that's afraid to fall. Because 6'6", it's a long way down.
Yes. No, I understand. Well, a
seems-
lot of it is, one time I'm going to go out there with you and I'll give you the basic fundamentals of just skating because as a hockey player, you must learn how to skate before you start playing the hockey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I always felt, too, that the stick... Do you ever skate without a hockey stick? I'm terrified without the stick. All of a sudden I lose it's like somebody chopped a leg off or something. The stick really helps with the balance, but...
Yeah. No, I understand that. A good way to get into it is just go to public skating where some nice music, and you just kind of skate around, and from there we just throw a stick in your hand, and then from there we're going to throw a puck on the ice, and from there we're going to have someone try to hit you.
Hit me? Ron, I'm 50. Hit me? I'm playing my goal is to play in a non-contact league.
There's always going to be contact.
Yeah, I know.
Would it be similar to the NFL right now where you can't touch the quarterback?
Very similar to that. You know what? In fact, I'm going to get myself a red jersey, a red penny. I'm going to wear a red penny for the players to see me.
Yeah. Oh. So I understand you've been spoiled at MSG with some good tickets.
Oh my God! It's like what an incredible moment, and we had the picture before. It's on the face page of the podcast. It's what do you call it? The
Facebook. It's okay.
Facebook page.
You are so technical.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, my first time there, where we lose 5-2, and the guy comes over and goes, "Hey, we're going to put you on the jumbotron." I was like,
Yeah.
And it was my first time.
Not a good time, right?
I know, but it was still being a kid that grew up listening to you guys, like especially the Ranger Islander games where it wasn't televised and I didn't have Sports Channel and I would listen to it. Being a kid that grew up watching hockey, listening to hockey, to that moment where they put me on the jumbotron it's so surreal. And I remember watching it like over and over as I'm laying in bed, my wife's sleeping. Like, did that really happen? It was crazy.
Well, it's great because you get to meet your heroes now. Ron being one of them.
Yes,
You know?
I got to meet Ron, who was a very big fan of Ron when I was younger, and now I always tell this to people. I will never forget where I came from, and like I think it was like Christmas, and Ron texted me "Merry Christmas." I'm like, Ron Duguay texted me "Merry Christmas." I'm showing everybody in my family. Look at Ron Duguay texting me "Merry Christmas," and it's incredible. It's something I'll never take for granted.
Yeah. Well, we're friends. We're friends now, right?
We are buds. Ron, so I took Ron to the filming of the last. He's part of history. He saw the last scene of Kevin Kuwait recorded, where they said, I guess they call that the martini shot. Mm-hmm. And little did we know we wouldn't be coming back, but he was there. And Kevin, he got to meet Kevin, and Kevin, of course, knew. Kevin, not a big hockey fan, but knew who Ron was. I mean, even if you don't watch hockey, if you were a sports fan in the 80s, you had to know who he was. It's funny, when I introduced Ron to Leah Remini, she says to him, do you remember Ron?
Yes.
She said to him that, I'm sorry if I don't know who you are, but I was in a cult during that time.
and me not thinking it through, because I'm a fan of her, so I was a little bit nervous speaking with her and being around her.
Right.
I didn't quite understand what she said. I thought there was a joke in there somewhere.
Right.
No. She was being serious. She was in a cult before, and I've sort of known that, but I didn't put two and two together, thinking she can't be that honest with me, or is she being funny? And then someone had to explain the joke to me. Normally, I'm pretty good at getting it, but it went right over my head. And when she said that to me, I kind of gave her a fist pump, like, yeah, like I had no idea.
It was great. That was funny. That was funny because she. I'm saying to myself, she's around my age. She's got and every woman in the New York State loved Ron Duguay with the hair flowing and during the heydays there. But she was really shut off from society. She had no idea what anyone was. She was in the what's that religion again?
She was
Scientology. Yeah, her parents were big into Scientology, and she was a child of Scientology. Henceforth, her program of fighting Scientology that's on where is it, History Channel or something?
Yeah. Now we have Ron on the phone.
Yes.
Before we move on, I just wanted to share with you what I shared with her and Kevin, and even yourself, Chris, how important it is for laughter. Anything that's you're part of something, like you like an athlete for being who he is, the entertainment value, but comedians to me, clean comedians to me, are so important to me because I need time off to just be able to get away from the stress and be able to laugh. And I kind of shared that with her and Kevin, and for Chris, for you also. It's awesome to be, I know you'd love to be a hockey player, but being a comedian, you're in a special place. I just want to tell you that.
I appreciate that, and I'm going to print that up and put that on my corkboard at home. But, it's so funny. If you look at my 6th grade yearbook, it says, what do you want to be? And it said hockey player. So back then I had my sights on the NHL, but unfortunately with my chicken legs and my asthma, it never worked out, Ron.
Oh, okay. So here we are today.
Right.
Talking Ranger hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have your own show right now, Talking Ranger hockey, or just hockey in general.
We're trying to keep it's. We have a lot of the Ranger Islander rivalry. We have a guy, Anthony DiDomenico, who's not here today, big Islander fan. So we have a lot of fun talking about the rivalry. And we also try to tie in comedy to it. That's why it's Comedians on Hockey.
And what was Anthony most impressed by with Ron Duguay?
Anthony was so looking forward to talking to you because he was so impressed because he's a very big fan. And I didn't even know you appeared on the show, Beverly Hills 90210, if I said that right. I didn't know you were on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so I was. I've done a little bit of acting. I don't know if that was considered acting.
Sure.
Basically, just playing myself, and they given me lines. But it was part of something that was special. It was towards the end of their show, also 902. So I got to meet Jason, and then later on, when I retired, I started to play with the celebrity hockey team, a traveling celebrity hockey team that Jason was on.
Right.
And so I got to know a lot of those guys, Alan Thicke, and there are so many that played. But, that was a little bit of my I wouldn't say it was my debut because I was on Ryan's Hope. If you guys are probably old enough to remember Ryan's Hope.
Oh, my God. I didn't know you were on Ryan's Hope. We got to find this stuff.
Oh, we're getting these clips.
We got to find this.
Yeah, that, and Alan Thicke, because he's a friend of mine, he had this sitcom called Hope and Gloria. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't remember that one. You do?
Yeah.
Hope and Gloria, yeah. So I was on that show also. I had a couple scenes there. And so I've done a little bit of acting. I've enjoyed it, and I've never pursued it, but I'd love to do more. That's why when you brought me near your show, and I'm like, oh, I so want to do that. Just give me a couple of lines.
Right. And it was John Truce.
I'm a lot more comfortable in my skin now.
Right.
30 years ago, I was nervous about it. And now I'm very comfortable because I've done so much as far as television go, MSG, and just a lot of Ranger alumni stuff where I'm given the mic and I get to speak to people. So I'm out of my comfort zone.
Oh, yes.
And so I love doing it.
Yeah, I seen you speak to at that celebrity game at the was it Bethpage, the celebrity fundraiser game?
Yeah.
And I was impressed how you spoke to the crowd. Being a hockey player, it'd be pretty darn
good.
Well,
that's within my comfort zone now. So I can do it, and I like to do more. So if you ever have an opportunity to use me somewhere, I'm sure you're working on something.
Absolutely, Ron. And also, it was John Truson who, and I had this forwarded to Kevin when the show was still on. John said, "Get Ron Duguay on the show and call it Kevin Can Skate."
Yeah.
That would be the episode called Kevin Can Skate, where Ron Duguay teaches Kevin how to skate, and he liked it.
Kevin is a good athlete.
I think Ron Duguay may have appeared in season 3. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, it'd be to see Kevin on ice. That'd be hysterical.
You know, and Kevin is known. Kevin is well known, although he's not a hockey guy. He's known to be a very good athlete. He is light on his feet. He plays with the Mets a lot, and he hits them out of the park. In high school, he was a big football and wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also even when we did one scene where we played football, and just watching him, like, I'm working with stunt coordinators. He's just like diving into rocks and stuff, and he's incredible.
Yeah. He's very competitive.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Well, I see him as yabba dabba do twinkle toes. You know, where he's just good on his toes.
Yeah, he's good, and he's also if you look at his Instagram page, he's training hard. He trains with MMA fighters. He's big into the MMA, and he's still, again, for a big guy, light on his feet. And like, I'm always afraid to fall down. I wake up afraid to fall down.
Yeah. No, I follow him, so I like what he's doing. He's an inspiration. You know, guys that a lot of people need that little bit of push to get back into shape for health reasons or just for doing it for the right reasons. So I like what he's doing.
Yeah, it's inspirational. And the guy on our podcast who's not here, Anthony DiDomenico, he's a large guy. He lost, how much did he lose so far?
He lost about 120 pounds.
120 pounds. And the guy's like, now he has like Weight Watcher groupies follow him around to his shows. It's
okay. Yeah. So when do I get to be on your show? When could we go live here on your podcast?
We're thinking, as far as video?
Yeah, just doing it. You said that we're going to be on. Are we on soon, or are we just talking?
Oh, you're live right now. I guess.
We are. Okay.
You know what, Ron? You know what? You are the second caller. Like season 2, we didn't have the phones up. Now we got the phones up. So you're the second caller. I guess we should let them know that they're on air right away, so they don't incriminate themselves.
I think we should ask Ron Duguay what he thinks of the Rangers thus far.
Yeah, because Ron, we were going over this article by Tom Ertz Jr., and it was the New York Rangers. They announced their 2018-19 leadership group. So the 5 players, the alternate captains, and we were talking about who we thought should be the next captain, being whether it be Chris Kreider, Jesper Fast, Mika Zibanejad, and it was who else? Zook and Zook and Stahl. Do you have a opinion on who their next Ranger captain should be, Ron Duguay?
All right. Well, having been on many teams and kind of understanding what a good captain is,
right?
A lot of it is not just what you see on the ice. A lot of it is what you don't see off the ice. Mm-hmm. Things that go on in the dressing room, because you become a family and you're traveling together, and there are good days and there are bad days, and you need that guy for the most part during the bad times or the rough times. And it could be stuff on the ice during the game, in the dressing room, things that are timely said, or it could just be a lifestyle thing. You can't just be a great leader on the ice and not be that same guy off the ice, because every player could be okay, but there are players that need a need. You got to be able to know when you need to go talk to a guy, pat in the back. If there are issues among players, you got to be the guy that comes in between and just speaks to the guys. There needs to be a calmness to you. There needs to be a voice about you that's respected. So it's not just what you see on the ice. So in those guys that you talked about, I think for what I know, I think Zook is that all-around guy that would provide what it takes to be a complete person to be a captain.
Interesting. I would imagine it's mostly what we don't see.
Yeah.
Yes,
that makes the captain.
Yeah, absolutely. What you see is obvious with Zook on the ice. The way he plays hard. He's consistent. Cares about his teammates. He'll get in someone's face regardless of his size and weight. And I think that he's not. He says that he's somewhat quiet in the dressing room, but guys like that, like I've been around Messier and I've been around Gretz and Mary. A lot of those guys don't say a whole lot, but when they do say something, it means a lot. There's a lot of power behind it. Wow. So Zook is not a real vocal guy, but I think he's got a lot of respect from his teammates. So when he does speak, it does make a difference. Versus some guys are captains and they won't shut up. It's this constant wording and this and that. After a while, you just kind of tune them out, right?
Right.
That's not a good captain. So you want a guy that says less and does more, and when he does say something, there's power to it.
Right. I remember when Brian Leach, they made him captain, and I wasn't a fan of it at first because I'm like, he's so quiet, but then again, I don't know what he's like in the locker room. He just seems so quiet and laid back that he didn't seem like a very vocal person on the ice. So when they made him captain, I was like, all right. But then again, it's what happens in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's another thing I want to address. Let's look back at Ryan McDonough.
Right.
Did Ryan McDonough become a better player or a weaker player after he became a captain?
That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing. I thought, again, Brian Leach, Hall of Famer, I thought he played better without the C. That's just me. But it's, What do you think, Tristan?
I agree. Now, why is that? It just puts extra pressure on you?
Do you think?
Extra pressure. Absolutely.
Do you think?
Extra pressure, more expectation on yourself. Because you got enough pressure on yourself like it is, but you start, if you're not the right person, because some guys, the added pressure makes them better, but other guys, when they take on too much pressure, it could make it worse.
Right.
So that's kind of my issue. To change the subject a little bit, that's kind of my issue with Lundqvist. I think he's just too hard on himself.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very proudful guy, hardworking guy, and he wants to win. That's all good. But when you are putting too much pressure on yourself and the guys around you, that could be a bad thing when things aren't going right. And we have seen that in the past with him, where he tends to be a little stressed out when things aren't right. If a defenseman in front of him makes a mistake, results in a goal, you can tell by his body language that he's kind of pointing the finger without pointing a finger at that D. And when it's obvious to me, when I'm watching from here, it's obvious to that player, and that creates tension and stress. So, and a lot of it is just he hates to lose.
Yeah.
And he puts a lot of pressure on himself to be the best, which is fine.
Right.
But you got to be careful on how you manage that.
I think one of the reasons he's probably listening, my brother Tommy, who we're like a year and a half apart, he's a goaltender. And I think it's one of the reasons I stopped playing, because he was always screaming at me. I played defense, Ron, and if somebody got past me and scored on him, oh my God! I broke my metacarpal in my right hand by laying down to block. It was a rent out, and this guy was lighting my brother up for the whole rent out. And finally, he went to go wind up, and I just laid down in rent out, laid down in front of the shot, and broke my hand because I didn't want to hear my brother yell at me again if this guy scored on him.
And I'm sure he was doing it in a loving way.
Oh yeah, that's why I've always had a soft spot for goalies. Ron Hextall, and
Ron, have you ever met a well-adjusted goalie?
No.
Well, not many. The one I know him a lot, and Billy Smith being one of them.
Oh,
him and I
he's
became
great.
good friends later on because we ended up doing a lot of hockey exhibitions together, and I got to know why Billy was Billy, and why he won Stanley Cups. And but I think the one goaltender that's well balanced, that's won Stanley Cups, is Marty Brodeur. Marty is a pretty laid-back, casual guy, and Kenny Danico will tell you this, that regardless of what's going on, he's always had that way of just staying calm during the pressure times or times where guys in front of him are making mistakes. There was no blame with him. If anything, you'll see him pat guys on the back.
Right.
That's
huge.
and that's that goes a long way. When a guy makes a mistake, he feels awful, and for a goaltender, kind of gives you the stare down. It makes it worse. Instead of a goaltender coming up and say, "Hey, look, let's talk," whatever, make a comment about something, but at the end, say, "Hey," patting them back and just say, "Let's get back at it. Everything will be fine. Whatever." Just a positive word.
Yes, because after I quit playing hockey, I tried joining a 2-man bowling league with my brother, and I'll never forget when I missed like an easy spare, and as I'm walking back to the seat, I feel him staring at me. It's something goes back to my child. I feel him staring at me. I look at him and I go, "What?" He goes, "Come on, man. I don't want to lose." I'm like, "Tom, it's a Saturday night. We're hanging out." And he goes, "I don't want to lose to these two fat bastards." I'm like, "Tom, this is somebody's parents we're playing at. We're playing against somebody's parents that got a babysitter." It's like, can't we just enjoy ourselves? But everything was a competition with this guy.
Yeah, in the zip, you were trying to play back.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. But
what do you think? I'm trying to lose?
Yeah. But getting back to the question, Ryan McDonough, did he get better or worse with the captaincy? What do you think,
he
John?
put too much pressure on himself, and his play
pressure.
suffered a bit.
Too much pressure. It's almost like we talked about this the last podcast. How many great players, get traded to New York and they just shrivel. They don't produce. It happens a lot because then on the flip side of the coin, you get guys that come into the Garden, they're playing against us, and all of a sudden they get like these tremendous games, 3-4 goal games.
Mm-hmm. There are players that would rather go hide and go play in Phoenix, be a good player there,
right?
Under no pressure. Or there's other guys like myself. I want to go to the Big Apple. Right. I want to go on the big stage. Right. I want to be seen. And to me, it brings the best out of me. Well, it won't be from the lack of not trying. It'll be you make mistakes, right? Or you're just not your best. But for me,
right.
that was the best thing that happened to me coming out of the gate playing in New York, Madison Square Garden, putting that Ranger jersey. It was like you being introduced that first time, me stepping on the ice at the Garden the first time, right. And then for me to have. You got it for 3 seconds? Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
I got to be out there and just get a reaction out of the fans by just playing hard, hitting someone, right? And you get the power to get a response from someone,
right.
to have people talk about you when you leave the game, like. Do you see that number 10 out there? Right. I mean, to have that power to be able to do that, that's awesome as an athlete. That's what some players don't get. They just play and they just kind of blend in, right? They just blend in, they play, and they're okay.
Yeah.
Versus go do something special. Be noticed out there. Be noticed.
You know, this is excellent advice for comedy.
Every time I stepped on the ice, I know they were going to notice me.
Yeah.
And so, anyways.
That's why you're a fan favorite. And we're on the topic, I think a lot of fans were very upset to hear that you're not coming back as a announcer, commentator, post show, and everything. A lot of fans are upset. And I know there's a petition going around too. Which, if you, I don't know if you read the petition, the guy who wrote it really did a nice job writing it. I think when I found out, it's almost like when you're watching, I used to watch a show 6 Feet Under, and one time one of the main characters, they didn't even let you know, he got killed. They killed him off, and you were like, the next day, you're like, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. There's no way. There's no way. And I think a lot of people are like, there's no way they're not bringing Ron Duguay back. Are you crazy? He's like you're the face of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's, I don't want to get into it too much, but yeah, I basically just, my contract came to an end, and they didn't renew it. They basically said in a 1-minute conversation, not to me, not even to me, to my agent, saying, we're not having him back, we're going in a different direction. And for a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, we've asked for a why, and we haven't gotten a why. And so you can only assume that whoever's made that decision, which I kind of know who it is, thinks that I am not good for ratings. So when you look at how TV win, they win by having good ratings, by having a good show. So if they're using someone else, they're thinking that person or that whatever they're going to do is better for the show, better for ratings. So I guess if he's right, he's right. He's going to look good. But if he's wrong, he's going to be wrong, and there's going to be a lot of people unhappy. So I'm just sitting back, and I'm kind of looking at doing other things. And I sensed this was coming at one point because the guy started judging what I was wearing on the air.
And that's the one thing that people love about you.
Yeah.
Like, what is Ron going to wear today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, when he started telling me that what I was wearing wasn't coming across well, I'm thinking, okay, he must be on social media and listening to an Islander fan making a comment about me.
Probably right.
Right. Now, you're sitting back almost like Erin Hayes from Kevin Can Wait, the wife, when they killed her off. She sat back season 2 and just watched everything just, not go good.
Right. So, listen, I'm not going. Listen, I look back. I'm so grateful I got the 12 years for me to reconnect with the fans. I mean, I'm probably, when I walk the streets now, I'm more popular now than I've ever been as a Ranger person. And so I'm very grateful for the 12 years I got. And if I was ever to come back sometime in the future, that'd be awesome. But until then, I'm going to spend a lot of time as a Ranger ambassador because I know on that side they really appreciate me. So I'll probably a little more hands on with the fans, which is a whole lot of fun. I'll get to take you, Chris, to the garden. I can have you stand right by the glass. If you want, I can have you sit on the bench.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to tell you, even when he asked me, like, it was when they did that the alumni game at Bethpage. He goes, you want to sit on the bench? I was like, no. Me? I don't want to sit on the bench.
Yeah. Or be a coach anyway.
Yeah.
So there's going to be other things. Plus, I started this program, this school program. I'm going to schools in the Bronx with Stefan Matteau Cote-Nord, and we have this leadership program that we started, which is called Leadership and Legacy. So we go to the classes, we talk to kids, we encourage them, we start talking to them. We're having them think about, who are you? What is it that you think you want to accomplish in life? So we go there with a lot of encouraging words. We kind of we walk through what we've been through, the good days, the bad days, and we've teamed up with Woodlawn Cemetery, which is, you wonder why Woodlawn? Well, Woodlawn's got a lot of famous people buried there with legacies. So we take them on this field trip over to Woodlawn. They get to pick someone. They write about them. And at the end of the day, they do this presentation in front of the class about legacy, about someone else's legacy and what they think their legacy is going to look like. And that's what's really important. We're having them think with every day that they live, with everything that they think about doing. What are their kids going to say about them? What are their friends? How are they going to be described later in life? And that's why we have them thinking that way. That way they don't just go day to day not having a whole lot of thoughts in their head about what they're going to do. So we're very encouraging, and we just get them thinking about their legacy. So anyways, having said that, that's going to make up a lot of my time during the winter. I'll be around New York a lot. And then, of course, I'd love to have my own show, as you're doing right now, live audience at some bar in Manhattan after a game where the fans can maybe walk in, maybe 15 minutes after the game's over. Fans come in. We have a live show. We talk hockey for about an hour, and we just have a whole lot of fun because there's nothing like that out there. So
that would be great.
I could see that on MSG. That show. But
yes, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I have some interest right now, and I would love to do something like that. That'd be a whole lot of fun because a live audience with no commercials. We'll just have a good sponsor, no commercials, and just have some fun, right?
That would be incredible. And I was going to ask you, next time you go to the graveyard, can I come with you guys? Because I could use some inspiration. And I have no idea what my legacy. I don't know. This is something I'm going to be thinking about.
Yeah, it really. There's your work legacy, and then there's you as a person, as a father, as a husband legacy, right?
Oh my
And
God!
so those are things that you start to think about.
Thinking about, I'm on the verge of a panic attack right here, Ron. Oh my God!
I do personal counseling, just so you know.
Yeah, I may be interested in that. Oh my God! But yeah.
So any thoughts on the Rangers after the first two games?
I thought they played well in both games, and for a team with a lot of young guys playing, they competed hard.
Right.
They looked pretty good out there. I was not upset that they lost two because they looked pretty solid.
Yeah, and we were just talking about how we've been impressed with Jimmy Vesey. Jesper Fast, always impressed with him, but it's definitely an interesting and exciting time for the New York Rangers. I saw a statistic that it's the youngest New York Rangers team since 1955-56, and I was like, wow. I thought in the 50s and 60s the players might have been older. I don't know, but youngest team in quite some time.
Okay, well, let me give you my thoughts on it,
Okay.
because I looked at the team this summer, and you look at them on paper, and you're not quite sure. And then I saw them in training camp, and I saw how they were competing. And then I listened to Coach David Quinn, his philosophies on how to coach and what he thinks the character of the team is going to be. And then I saw him in an exhibition game. I saw them play. I saw them compete. I saw a little more toughness. I saw some speed. I saw some guys that could score goals. Now, you put that together, what is it that you're going to have, right? And so I think they were prepared the best they can against a very tough Nashville team in Game 1. Yeah. And then we saw Lundqvist play really well. He made 5 saves in the first period that he needed to do, which we think he's going to need to do early on in this season because mistakes are going to be made. Some mistakes are going to be made, especially defensively. So we saw that. So he kept them in the game. It was a close game. They almost got a point out of it. And then you go into Game 2 in the Buffalo, you think, okay, this is a winnable game. The thing is, what's going on right now is that these teams are so prepared at the beginning of the season, regardless who you are, because these coaches understand that a one or two games can put you in the playoffs or out of the playoffs. So it's not like it used to be 20 years ago where the first 10 games where you just everyone's kind of casual. It's not like now. Everybody's going 100 miles an hour, and you have to be ready to play at your very best. So they won against some good goaltending, got some chances. So what I'm thinking going into tonight's game is the comment that I made. They just need, because they can score goals, they just need a couple of bounces where they can get an early lead, get some goal scoring, and get some confidence among the line mates and within the team that they can be. I think they can be okay. They just need to find a way here in the next 8 games to go 500. They go 500 in the next 8 games, so they don't start to fall back and get into a little bit of a hole. But overall, I like the team, young players, I like the leadership. They play hard, and I like the coaching staff. Good coaching staff.
Very good, very good. We're very excited, Ron. We're gonna wrap it up, and what we want to do now is every person that calls and every player, we want to have like the stock 3 questions to ask you, and it's almost our inside the actor studio moment, Ron.
Okay.
One question we
Jim
have.
Lipton. Jim Lipton, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, I love Jim. Jim's a big hockey fan. I don't know if you know.
Oh, I did not know this. We'll have to we'll see
in fact, back in 1986, I was around him, and he asked me one night, he says, would you like to go to the ballet?
Ballet?
Nice.
The ballet. And I politely said, yeah, sure, love to. And so I can say I went to the ballet, and it is just have you ever been to ballet?
I have not.
No. Okay. Well,
it's on my bucket list, Ron.
Yeah. It's you appreciate them, the entertainers. You can see how athletic they are and how great a shape they are. And it's not something that I think I would go back to, but I'm glad I did it. Anyways, I got to know Jim, and because he's a big Ranger fan, he'd come to the games quite a bit. I haven't seen him in a couple of years, and so I got to know him, and he's quite the character.
Wow, and it's impressive that you know him as Jim, and we all know him as James Lipton. But
yeah,
that's the most impressive. I was very impressed by that.
Yeah.
So the one question of the 3 that we have is, if hockey, I guess somewhere in your college days or minor league, let's say hockey did not work out for you, did you have a backup plan? What would Ron Duguay, what would you have done? Farming or anything? I don't know.
Farming.
I don't know. A lot of players like to farm, I guess. What would you have done with yourself, Ron, if you were not a hockey player? It did not make it
and this is one of the things I share with friends. And now when I'm talking, I did not have a backup.
Okay.
I was all in. In
I
fact,
love
I
that.
left. I left high school in grade 10 because at the time we were doing I was playing junior hockey, and we were traveling all over the place. We were doing a whole lot of traveling, and then I'd come home, I'd be a mess, be tired, try to go to school, couldn't concentrate. And at some point, I was in grade 10, I was going to school every other day, and when I would go, I would only go at noontime. So finally, the principal came up to me one day, and he said, and he kind of understood I was a good hockey player. He says, Ron, it's okay if you don't come back to school. He actually said that to me.
Wow.
And this would have been 1974, maybe 73, 74. And then my parents, because they only had grade 6 education, they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, you're a good hockey player. It looks like you're going to make it. So I did not have a backup. And I look back and think back. I didn't have any other interest but playing hockey. I did it 24/7. Right. If I wasn't on the ice playing, I was thinking it and I was watching it. No, I didn't want to be an astronaut. I didn't want to be a doctor, a lawyer, nothing else.
I've heard that kind of response of several people talking about their careers. I know, like, when I first started doing stand-up comedy, I was about a year in, and a friend of mine I was living at this bachelor pad, and he came into my room, and he's like, what are you going to do if this comedy thing doesn't work out? And that was never an option. I said, that's not an option. It's not an option. There was no backup plan. It's like I'm going all in or bust.
Mm-hmm. I guess the option is if you were to get hurt, then what do you do? Right.
And also,
that every time I step on the ice, because I play hockey without a helmet. Every time I step on the ice, I would never think I'm getting hurt. Never. To this day, I step on the ice. I go out on a prayer, and I don't even think about getting hurt. So I think there's something to be said about that, because I haven't gotten hurt very much other than my feelings.
Right.
I've been really good.
And I hope you eventually got your GED, Ron. I hope.
Ron's doing fine.
If kids are listening at home today, please stay in school.
Oh, yeah.
But
I bring it up only because I tell them stay in school. And the other thing I tell them, if you're going to play hockey with a helmet.
Yes.
Okay.
A helmet, but no, it's great advice. It's do or die. You get into something.
Yeah.
Sometimes a backup plan could be like almost like you're giving yourself an excuse to fail. But question 2 was John Trusman?
No, you got it.
John, we were going to say, as far as the players in the NHL, is there any players that you remember, like who is the funniest? Well, again, this is comedians talking hockey. Who is the funniest player that you ever played with, or probably could be a stand-up comedian?
The first guy that comes to mind, I got to play, I think, 1 year with him, and there's always one funny guy on the team, or more. The one guy that I remember, which we all know, is Barry Melrose.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So him and I played together in Detroit. Yeah, we played together in Detroit. And Barry, we call him Bubba. He always sat in the back, and he was always the guy in the back having a couple beers, and he'd always be the loud guy in the back. And you just gravitated to him because laughter, as I mentioned before, is really important.
It's contagious.
Yeah, Bubba was very funny.
Barry Melrose. For some reason, that's surprising to me because I think if I met Barry Melrose, I might be a little intimidated. I don't know. Wow.
All right.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, you guys, you listen to him on ESPN. He's always cracking a joke.
Yeah. Okay.
And what's funny about him, he laughs at his own stuff. I mean, he says something, he just cracks himself up.
Okay. All right. And our third question, Ron, and again, you don't have to say me because I'm here and we're friends, but who is your favorite stand-up comedian? Do you have one?
You know who I've really enjoyed? And for me, a clean comedian is important to me. Jim Gaffigan.
Oh, he's great.
My buddy.
Yeah, very close friend of John's over here. John Trusman.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
I love Jim.
Oh,
John Truson here, my co-host, is a fixture in the stand-up comedy world. He's been in the business for like how long, Truson?
I don't want to bring it up.
And he worked at many comedy clubs, not only as a comedian but also as a booker. So he knows a lot. And we actually saw Jim perform over here at Westbury, and he brought us back. He brought us backstage. Great guy, and it's so.
Yeah.
I love when you see somebody on TV or you meet them in person, and they're as cool as you hope they were. And Jim Gaffigan is that cool.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, I would love to meet him sometime. He cracks me up. His one-liners, and I guess, and he says he's proud of the fact that his wife does a lot of the writing for him.
Oh, his wife is brilliant.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
have you met his wife?
Yeah, Jeannie. Yeah,
Wow,
she's great.
Yeah, and so, but I'm telling you, I'll come home sometime late at night. I've been out and have a couple of adult cocktails, and I'll sit here and put him on. He just cracks me up. He's funny, the one-liners.
And to be that clean and that funny is not easy to do. But yeah, sometimes your wife or significant other, because they're so close to you. My wife, one time, she'll say stuff funny and not even realize it. Like one time she asked me, because I always wear like natural deodorant. I don't want to put aluminum under my armpits. She asked me one time, she goes, "Are you wearing deodorant today?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'm wearing Tom's of Maine, natural. You know this." She goes, "Is it onion scented?" And
That's good.
She's so sarcastic and funny that a lot of the stuff she says ends up in my act.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Can I give you my top three guys?
Sure. Go.
All right, because again, clean comedian is really important because especially if you have kids, right? And,
Right.
You just want to be able to laugh at something that's clean. Jerry Seinfeld is another one that I've always really enjoyed.
Long Island guy,
Jerry Seinfeld, very funny, very funny.
And the guy that kind of took over from Seinfeld because he left is when I started watching King of Queens.
Kevin
James. To me, his body language, his everything about what kind of a I don't want to call him a loser on the show, but he's really funny as heck.
Lovable loser, and
him and his wife when they start scheming on stuff.
Right.
Oh, it's just so funny. But that's why I really enjoyed meeting him. And because the first thing he said to me when he sees me, he said, "Boy, you really let yourself go."
That's hysterical. That is hysterical. He had when he approached me to open up for him, like I was opening up for him on the East Coast for about a year, and one thing he said to me, he goes, "I'm thinking about having you open up for me, but I'm like, I'll be clean." I knew exactly what he wanted. I said, "I'll be clean." He goes, "Okay." I said, "I've done church shows. I'll keep it squeaky." And he goes, "Yeah, but some of our jokes might be similar." I said, "I won't do any fat jokes." He goes, "Okay, good." And I was hired. So I had to be clean and no weight jokes.
Right.
And
so what would be something dirty that would be part of your show?
Well,
Can you say?
I like to get naughty, Ron. I like to say, here's the thing about comedy. You can go up there and curse. You could say that you drop the F-bomb like 20 times, but if you're funny, people will come up to you after the show and say, "Oh my God, I loved you, and you were so clean."
Yeah.
So it's all about if it's funny or not. But I have a few jokes that kind of push the envelope, so to speak. I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. And your wife is fine with that.
She's fine. Yeah, she's the brunt of a lot of my jokes, and so is my father. And my father loves it. My father loves when I make fun of him on stage, even though people will groan at. So, like, there's one joke I have about my dad. I say my wife and we moved in with my dad to save for a house. Well, actually, we're not really saving for a house. We're waiting for a house. And
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, and sometimes people get upset at that joke, but my father loves it. He goes, "Make fun of me more. Make fun of me more." Years ago, he said to me, "I give you carte blanche."
Yeah.
He loves it.
That's great.
Yeah, that's funny. Anyways, we got to get hooked up one night, not only to come and see you, but I got to go see Jim somewhere, Gaffigan, because he's freaking.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're making it happen.
We'll make it happen because John Truson, a very good friend with him, will make it happen. And thank you so much, Ron, for calling in today.
Yeah.
And we definitely want to have you call in again in the future because we love you and you're awesome. And we hope to see you back on MSG soon, like the rest of New York.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks. Good talking with you. Don't forget the game starts at 5. They're in Carolina.
Yep.
All right, we're on it.
That's why the hockey podcast was moved back to 3:00 today.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ron.
How long is your show, by the way? Is it a 2-hour show?
No, we try to keep it around an hour, but if it goes long, it goes long, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll go long
All
for
right.
Ron
Well, I
Duguay.
wish you the best. I wish you the best for your show.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, see you soon. Bye.
All right, that was great.
That was great.
The great Ron Duguay.
And it's great. He's so well adjusted to TV and radio that
Yeah.
we didn't have to do any work.
Yeah.
No,
The whole time.
He's interviewing you. It's great. He's awesome.
Because I know sometimes when I go on these local TV stations and they interview me, I'll just sit there. I'm like, okay, what do you got to say? What do you want to ask me? But he just took over, which was great.
Ron is a natural, and we're making the Gaffigan thing happen.
Yes, that would be great.
How hilarious would it be if you go, what was your favorite comedian? He just goes, Anthony Domenico is hilarious.
Domenico.
He's one of the funniest.
He's so funny.
Love him.
Anthony, by the way, joined
Right.
late and told us to ask him about 90210. We did, Anthony.
We did.
asked the great Ron Duguay about 90210 in your absence.
So when we put the playback on Facebook, you can watch.
There you go.
This was a great episode.
That was great. I know.
And we miss you, Anthony. We did miss you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, a little bit.
A little bit.
I don't know, we had fun today, huh, guys?
Yeah, that was fun. It was actually more fun today.
Yeah, really.
No.
All right, we're going to wrap this bad boy up and go watch some hockey.
Let's do it.
All right, you guys have been wonderful. Watch us every Sunday, hopefully, on Not Another Puckn Podcast, Comedians on Hockey.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to play the Rangers song just to irritate Anthony. Here we go.
Remember I got mad the guy high-fived me in the middle of the whole song? You don't fucking high-five me. The guy already? I'm like just going, yeah. He goes high-five. I'm like, I'm doing the yeah. I'm doing the yeah. You don't high-five me in the middle of the whole song.
All right, turn off the live.
Let's talk about it.
It's hilarious.
All right.
Hit the live.
Oh, I got him.
Was he alive?
I was still live. Hey, guys. How do you hit finish? What do you do? Oh, hit. Okay.
You do this every week.
Finish.